taken by this feeling. Baby, we're invincible.
Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Rebuilding Notts County. Looking forward, it's the final episode of the save in general, basically. So the plan is we're going to go through the remaining players that I've got on my list, which is about sort of 16, 17, because of the way things have gone. Then we're going to have a look at the transfer history of Notts County, the manager history, and if I can think of anything else on the way, I'll dump those in there as well. Apologies if I've missed something. I really have tried to cover everything I can, but it's difficult to know, and with time and all that jazz. So, Enziel Baldwin. Obviously, he retired very, very young in this save and was a scout from 2025 with the club. I think he finished his career, in fact, with... Oh, what the hell? That was not what I meant to click. Career stats. There we go. Yeah, finished his career with Notts County, retired, went straight into being a scout for us, and was there for 9 years before being... What are you doing, Enzio? He then went to be a scout for Nottingham Forest for 2 years. Shameful behaviour. Then went to Newcastle for 14 years, and now he's been at Manchester City for 7. Like, the guy's clearly a pretty talented scout, but why on earth would he move to Nottingham Forest? Shameful behaviour. Anyway, moving along from that, it's time for Asger Sundergaard, a player you'll barely have heard of at all because he came in, didn't really play, then moved back to Denmark and finished the rest of his career there. But there you go, in case you were wondering. Next up is Scott Fuster, and this one does interest me because we all knew about him. He played for us a bit during the early days, did a load of loan spells on the likes of Wigan and whatnot. Went out to Forest Green, and then I think he was released. I think he joined Scunthorpe then, and then just sort of worked his way back up and actually played against us in the Premier League for Bristol City. It was really, really cool to see that he actually did that. And then he kind of just sort of, he went just sort of to chill out to finish his career over in Greece, basically. Just chill, have a lovely old time, and finish off his career. But he did have a very solid career in the Championship and in the Premier League with Bristol City. So that's pretty damn cool. Okay, this might be one of the more interesting ones that we've had so far. I've got to be... Wait, surely this is the guy, is it not? Yes, it is. My goodness, look at his bloody career history. This is ridiculous. Okay, where do we even start with this one? Comes in from Norgeland. We already knew about him. He scored some bangers for us in the day. Went into Miami on loan. But then... actually came back into the team at Notts County after I left, and they gave him a decent amount of football for the next 3 years. Then he went on loan to RB Salzburg, came back to us for a little bit, played a little bit, moved on loan to Burnley. God, the amount of loan spells this man has had in his life. Did really well on loan at Stoke. Well, he played a lot, I should say. And then Chelsea just went, you know what? Yeah, we'll have him. And he didn't play that badly for Chelsea either. Then moved to Wolves for £44 million towards the end of his career. Crazy times there. And then finally finished it off as Leganes. But then things just take an even bigger turn. Because after that, he becomes West Brom's under-18 manager, which is, fine. Caretaker manager for a bit, not too bad. Then he comes in at Crewe, and he's manager at Crewe for a little bit. Gets some 16th in the Championship, which is not actually even that bad, but clearly not good enough as he was sacked as manager of Crewe. Obviously, Crewe at the time were looking after a little bit more. But then he went to Hull City. How did that do? It actually got him promoted, to be fair, and then was sacked as manager of Hull City, because God forbid you do that. And then he thought, you know what, screw it, I'm going to go manage Millwall for a little bit. And he actually, now this is where things get interesting. I guess that must have mean he kept them up barely in the Championship, which is fine. But then he was able to parlay that into a move. He was actually poached by Sheffield Wednesday. So that's kind of cool. Got them 10th in the league, did some good stuff there. And then he left Sheffield Wednesday as well. Bought a lot of players for some quite big money as well. And then he left to go to Derby. And he's actually still... Oh, no, he's not actually still there. He was nearly still there. Qualified for the playoffs in the first year and was knocked out by Newcastle. Runners up and got Derby promoted to the Premier League. And kept them in the Premier League. 17th is kept them up, isn't it? Yeah, it is. So then what on earth happened? Let's just check this. So he keeps them up. Yep, kept them up. He actually kept Derby in the Premier League after promoting them. Oh, yeah, and then they had one of the worst series. They had one of the worst seasons in the history of the club. So, okay, I don't know how much of that he was in charge for, but I guess it probably did have to be done. But I did not expect someone like Andreas Damgaard to be one of the guys. He's probably had the most, longevity. He's probably had the most sort of accomplishments in his managerial career, of actually doing things and winning things and consistently sort of improving himself. From Crewe to Hull to Millwall to Sheffield Wednesday, he was actually there for a while, and he actually managed Derby for a few seasons, did some good stuff, and got 100 caps for Denmark. That's awesome. Really nice to see that. He might be my favourite one of these so far. Next up, Harry McGuigan. Oh, I thought we didn't have him there. I thought I spelled his name wrong. Eventually did manage to get a lot of caps for Scotland, which is pretty cool. Yeah, he was born in Motherwell, so that makes sense. Did a load of loan spells out on... actually, I don't know if he did or not. I think he might have been at Scunthorpe on a permanent deal or not. I can't even remember here. Let's just see. Trial at Notts County. Yeah. Spent a loan at... so he was on loan at Scunthorpe for a long time. And then I think he may have moved to them permanently as well at one point, because then he was at Middlesbrough and actually did get promoted to the Premier League with Middlesbrough, I think, or did really, really well for them. And then, moved to Nottingham Forest for £11 million. He played for Bolton when they were in the Premier League. He did a lot of stuff and actually worked his way right up to the Premier League. Played for Fenerbahce, for Birmingham, for Motherwell, his hometown club again, and then finished it off at St Johnstone. Got some nice caps for Scotland in there as well. Fair play to Harry McGuigan. Tyrese Campbell, of course. Not much to say about him. Did go to Fleetwood for 6 years and smash a decent number of goals, but nowhere near the level he was at with us. Went to Australia and actually didn't score a single goal for them in 5 years. Rip Tyrese, I say. Okay, this is a bit of an interesting one. Lamjad Chitiu nearly got 200 caps for Tunisia, which is unbelievable. Just ridiculousness. And he's been a scout at Boston United, the chief scout, in fact, for the last 16 years. A very strange turn, I would have to say. And his career is sort of like that. Like, we sold him to Roma for £25 million because I didn't think he was that good. And then a few years later, he moved to City for £58 million. And I think I was justified in that. He did well for City, but that's probably because they were doing well. Then moved to Schalke for £9 million, does 2 years in that, and then suddenly he's back in the Premier League again with Chelsea for £17 million, before moving back to Germany for £3 million to finish off his career at Hertha. Decent number of caps there. Milestones-wise, he's been at chief scout at Boston United for the last sort of 16 years. Where are Boston in all of this? Are they Championship? League 2? League 2? Been as high as 4th in League 1 in this save, so fair play to them, I suppose. Quick check on Marcus Rodea. After he was with us, he went to Anderlecht for a bit and then back to Mexico to sort of finish off his career. Did reasonably well, or he made a lot of appearances, I should say, at Club America. So I guess there's that. Didn't ever get a cap for Mexico, though. Managed to find him. Worry not. Yeah, so he was at Notts County for 12 years, played 373 games. Amazingly, only ever got... Wow, he retired at 40. That's really, really old for an outfield player. Fair play to the guy. He's been all over the shop, really. Stayed for another 5 years at the club, which is pretty fair. I don't know how often he would have played in that period, but still, it's awesome. Finally went to Atletico for free, it would seem. Then went to Gremio for a little bit, went to Club America, went to Ecuador for a year as well. Like, I don't know how often he played after he left. So, yeah, 29 games, 24, 31, 33. Like, all the way up until he left, really. He was consistently in the Notts County first team, which is presumably why Turgeson didn't really ever get a chance in that. Played consistently for Atletico, even at Gremio. Really, to retire at 40, it's a lot of games he's played in his career. Still not quite Arta Silva levels for us, but, like, maybe if he stayed a bit, like, he probably could have got even way past it. So it's good to see that he at least had a solid career to him. And he's definitely the oldest player that we're going to see, no doubt. Because next up, it's James Unger. I reckon he retires young because of injury. 34, 69 caps for England in the end, and 21 goals. And oh my God, that's more like it. He stayed at Notts County for the rest of his career. I did not expect that. I'm going to be honest, I did not expect that. And he's won a buttload of stuff with us. Shortlisted for FIFA Men's Best Player. Let's just check his actual record for us. So after I left, it would have been... Like, he didn't quite ever get the same heights, but 27 games for 9 goals is pretty good. 33 games, 28, 24, 23. Still played 31 games that year. Then it started to tail off a little bit. But hey, I wanted loyalty, and I guess most of this would have been missed because of injury, but still, he did a decent job. Retired at 34. It's quite young, but it's also James Unger. He was injury prone. We knew that. I'm pleased with that. I think it's just nice to see someone that actually stuck with us for a bit and would have been there through the bad times too. I mean, not the worst times. He wasn't like relegated with us, but he was definitely there through some of it. Next one's Lakisar Hubanov, and I know for a fact that he moved to Spurs for massive money because that was during the save. Where we went after that, I don't know, but I saw that we let him go to Milan, I think on a free transfer, and Spurs bought him for £70 million, which is just insanity. And Wolves spent £44 million on him not that long after, in fact. Well, actually 5 years after, to be fair. He did okay at Spurs. 16 goals in 131 matches. Like, he didn't really play enough for us. There's no way. But that being said, he still won the Carabao Cup with us. Twice, in fact. The Premier League with us and the Carabao Cup once with us and once with Spurs in 2038. 71 caps for Bulgaria. That's a lot of... He didn't actually even have that many caps considering the amount of money he moved for in places. But there you go. Next up, it's big. It's Ahmed Aytaç. Retired at 37. Oh, that's more like it, folks. Still not the most... But my God, what a hero. 177 caps for the Netherlands, but more importantly, he finished his career. He played 16 seasons at Notts County and very nearly racked up the most appearances. If he'd have just had a few more appearances in those final 2 years for us, when he was playing as a freaking 36-year-old, then fair play to the guy. Like, obviously, his best seasons were here, but he still had some good ones. 12 and 28 is very decent. Then, obviously, I think they changed the role slightly, phased him out a little bit, maybe changed the style of play they were using, but... Okay, James Unger and Ahmed Aytaç basically played the next 15 years, for at least the next 10 years on the sides of Notts County's wings, which is, I think, really nice. Like, that would have been such a consistent thing. And John Carlos was there for a while too. Like, that midfield three would have been very consistent. I want to see if Jose Lalsingera stuck around, because maybe he could be the guy. Maybe he could get 200 league goals for us. He's already broken our original goal scoring record. Maybe there's more. Juan Tirso, this should be interesting as well. Yeah, I figured he would have left. Got 2 caps in the end for Spain, which is surprisingly low when you consider some of the money that was being batted about. Like, we were offered more than that in the summer before, but eventually, yeah, he obviously sold to Barcelona for 46 million, barely played. Went to Atletico for 32 million, barely played. Then went to where did he go? Oh, it was a loan spell. No, it wasn't. 52 million to Milan, who ironically was the team that put the big bid in when he was with us, and that was about the same amount of money. And then he actually did play all right for them. And then went to Ajax. Don't know how much there. And finally finished his career off at Villarreal. Didn't actually make any appearances in 2 years there. But, you know, the guy did all right. I'm surprised he didn't get more caps for Spain, but it is Spain. They're a very competitive nation. Next up, Alendrina. 36 years old. He went for a while. 79 caps for Bosnia as well. He went back to Bosnia for a bit. Was there for quite a while, in fact. Actually, no, he wasn't really. Went to Borac, went to FK Sarajevo before coming to Turkey for a little bit. Went to Getafe and finally sort of found his career in the latter stages there at Nantes. And did a little bit at Hanover, a little bit at Dijon, and before moving finally back to Bosnia. Hey, it's a pretty solid career, you got to say. Next up is Wes Booty. I bet he's retired. I bet he retired at like 22. 20. Dearie me. I love this. Made his senior debut playing for Notts County against Crystal Palace, and a match in which he was sent off. I think he only ever played 1 game or 2 games for Notts County in his entire career, not in the league, obviously. And he was sent off in both of them, I think. Next up, Kieran Dewsbury Hall, who, after going with us, was at Scunthorpe for a bit. He went to Nottingham Forest, of course, they always seem to, went to Chesterfield, and finished off his career over in the United States with Columbus Crew, and then the Birmingham Legion. Oh, what a great name that is. So that's Kieran Dewsbury Hall. Next up, it's the big one, though. It's the Son of War. Please be good. Please don't have buggered off. Okay, I will tolerate it. 67 caps for Brazil. Amazingly, only 17 goals. He did stick around for 6 more years and got 230 league goals for Notts County. He's not broken the Premier League goal scoring record, but he's bloody up there. That must be pretty damn close to getting on that leaderboard of Premier League goal scorers in history. 230 league goals. And he only cost us 7 million. Oh, no, he didn't. No, he cost us like 20 mil, didn't he? Yeah, 20 mil is still blood. That's an incredible goal scoring record that the guy's got. I don't know what his records were like after I left. So he got 23 in the final season there. Then 19, 12, 12, 13, 11. Yeah, it just kind of drifted away a little bit. He just could not quite keep it up as the squad just got worse and worse. He never did quite hit 30 goals for us in a season. He got 28 once. And that was his best year, though, the 29, particularly because he did it in 35 games. Disappointing not to see more from him, but the guy's still an absolute god. And has won, he's won a lot of personal achievements too. Like Golden Shoe on 3 occasions, Players Player of the Year, European Champions Cup forward runner-up, amazingly. Best Player in Europe runner-up, and he was also shortlisted for the Ballon d'Or, but he never won it. Or I think he was only ever in the Team of the Year once as well. Next up, Hadi Aslami. 140 caps for Iran and 77 goals, which is bloody fantastic. Never really got much of a chance for us. He eventually moved to Leeds United and then went to Galatasaray and didn't quite have the same kind of record as my man, who was it, that was absolutely smashing him for Galatasaray? I can't remember. And then was back at Eshtigal to finish off his career. I thought he had mad potential, but he just wasn't quite there, I don't think. Next up, Rincon. This is an interesting one. I feel like this guy should have had great career. I mean, it would seem like he's done all right. Not the best in terms of goal scoring, but decent for his country. So what did he join Burnley for? For £16 million. That seems a bit like an undersell, particularly as it was the summer after. But 55 goals for Burnley. It's a goal every sort of third game. And then his record for Chelsea was actually much, much worse. But he did win some stuff with Chelsea. So I suppose there's that. Won some FA Cups with Chelsea. Won a Carabao Cup with Burnley. Won the Charity Shield with both us and Chelsea. So, yeah. World Cup Golden Boot. That's pretty cool, though. And Euro Cup Player of the Season. So the guy's certainly done some good things. Just didn't quite maybe have the career that I was hoping he would have done, in fairness. And there's only one player left on my list right now, and that's Mamadou Abakar, who only really joined us really recently in the save. Retired at the age of 37, 146 caps for Belgium. This guy was quality, but we didn't get to see much of it because he went to bloody Bournemouth. Or was that on loan? I think it might have been on loan, actually, he was at Bournemouth. But then 94 million to Liverpool. Huge money being batted around. Look at some of these records. He's won everything. Went to Manchester United for 68 million. Went to Chelsea for 127 million. God damn. This guy would have been an absolute star. I feel like this guy was like John Carlos plus everything else. What a record. Like he's literally just won every single thing imaginable, this guy. European Championship, Golden Boot, 3rd place on 2 occasions. shortlisted for the Player of the Year on 4 occasions, Best Player in Europe runner-up on 2 occasions. He's won a lot of things, a lot of things. So that concludes the sort of player aspect of things. Now what I want to do is look at the transfer history of Notts County, sort of after we left. This will take a little while to load each one because it's very, very slow now. So this was the final year of transfers, which it's hard to tell which one's which. Did they sign a guy called Niels de Kock? I think they did, didn't they? That's good to know. So it seems that they've spent a lot of money at various times in this save. I'm guessing that was this season here. Yes, it is. So this is the season after I left. You can see that they went and dumped an insane 250 million. Finkbeiner of Borussia Dortmund, Provenzano of Inter for 60 million. They signed Peda, the guy that we used to play for Inter from Spurs, and then Atanasov. That's a great name. But then they sold everybody else. They sold 300 million pounds worth of players. They sold Beckart. They sold Sandoval. They loaned Abakar. They sold Raza. They sold Suarez. They sold Jesperson. They sold Fernandez. They sold. Look at this shit. That's a good deal, actually, though. They raised a lot of money, but they basically sold the entire pissing squad. They then sort of had to rein it back a little bit. They did sign Michael Ellison. Sorry, that won't make sense to anyone here. He's a young striker at Bolton who I've been watching for a couple of years, and he's been on the shortlist, but I never really felt the need to push the deal because we had good strikers. But they actually went and signed him. That's dope. Signed a guy from Lyon for 40 odd. I'm not going to show you each and every one because a lot of these guys aren't even in the database still. They spent, wow, that's an interesting signing. Piszczek left to go to Wolves, then Tonino, Islami, Rincon, Acevedo, Torgerson, De Los Santos was out on loan for some reason. That's a huge fee. So, well, it's not that huge actually, is it? But still, so they had to sort of recoup. They spent a little bit less money that summer. And then the following year, they brought in nobody, but sold 137 million pounds worth of players. That's a lot of money. And also, the guy they bought for like 40 million a few years before, then bunged him off to Wolves. I want to see this year. Like, what on earth were they playing at this season? Who did they sell? So yeah, they sold 321 million pounds worth of players this year. Mostly it was just a load of deals rather than like any specific standouts. Although 81 million to City there for Martin Reaney, and then 81 million to Dortmund as well. Still spent a decent amount of money themselves, but not like quite the same amount. What about Martin Reaney? Is he a good player? Probably. We don't know that much about him, I guess, because obviously this is all messed up now. But yeah, he's quite a good player. Where does he even play? He is a model professional. Bloody hell, DM as well. Look at this guy. Good lord. And the other one I wanted to look at was this one, which is this year here, where we sold a lot of players again. 56 million to Barca, Spurs, Barca again, Arsenal, Chelsea. God, they just sold so many bloody players. Joe Nolan, that was the year he went to Brentford for 19 million as well. So he was still there at the time. There's where they brought Niels de Kock. Good stuff. You love to see it. Who else did we bring in? There's a 50 million one there. Martin Reaney. So he came in from Bristol City for 56 million. Fran Sanchez. I would have called him Frances. You know that. Carlos Toussaint. Some good players in there. Right, now, probably the final thing we're going to do, which is to take a look at the managerial history of the club. Maybe we'll have a look at the records too. I don't know. We should maybe do that first, actually. Most of these would have been set when I was manager, I would have thought. Although, obviously, some of them are pre that, of course. Highest scoring match was the 6-0 with Bournemouth. What a game. That's one of the funnest games, despite us drawing it, that I've ever had. Highest fee received was obviously Joran Beckart. And the highest fee we paid was still Ahmed Aitach. So there you go. Most overall goals by a player in a single season was, of course, Gerrard when he got to 39, but the record was 40. He never quite got it. Most league apps by appearance is still Albert Ironmonger. That was always going to be the case. Most league goals was Tom Keatley. That was never going to come close to being challenged at all. Average rating, though, was Peda, interestingly. Jermaine Pennant. Oh, that's a real one. Okay, cool. Oldest player. Again, that's real. Although that was the first season of the save, wasn't it? Yeah, it must have been. Jesus. Fastest goal. Wow. Oh, that's not a real one. Most goals by a player in a match. Costello Troffin still has that record from the Bournemouth game. Most assists by a player in the season. Regan Booty. Most clean sheets. Marvin Suarez in the final year. Most man of the match awards was Guerra that year where he was absolutely phenomenal. Neil Harkin was the youngest goal scorer. They won 12 games in a row when I wasn't there. And they also went 24 without losing when I wasn't there. So, hey. And we also, but that was under me though, we went 8 matches without conceding in the league. That's ridiculous. Right, now managers. Actually, one more thing. Best 11 of all time. So Michael Ellison, the guy from Bolton, actually outperformed Guerra to get in the best 11 of all time. Aitach was in there though, which is nice to see. In fact, is he the only one? He is. Aitach is the only player that was from our original side that actually still remains in the best 11 with 608 appearances for the club. Crazy stuff. Dagger was in there too, which is kind of cool. Greg Campbell, 539 in all competitions. Unger, only 354 because of obviously injuries. But Dubois, 615. That's the most. Remy Dubois played 615 games for Notts County in all competitions. What a god. And Gareth's got over 300 goals in all competitions, which is crazy. It's just weird that the only one that actually remains is Ahmed Aitach. What a godlike player. Michael Ellison. Can we see anything about Michael Ellison? Just so you can... No, we can't. Wow. What a good signing they made. I'm going to take credit for that, though, because I spotted him beforehand. Did he go to Chelsea first? Did we buy him off of Chelsea then? No, he must have been on loan at Chelsea or something. Yeah, he was. Right. Finally, it's time for the managers. So, obviously me, 57% win ratio, 7 league wins, 4 promotions, 4 cups, Champions League in there as well. What did Allegri do at the club? He retired, so he actually wasn't like sacked or anything. A couple of Premier Leagues, won a Super Cup, 68% win ratio is actually better than me, so I can't really fault that. And he could have done amazing things if he, you can see that it fades away very quickly after that. I'm not seeing any kind of, apart from, Mr. Perrier there. Jean Dominic, he's the guy that was at Spurs for a bit, came in, won us, what did he win? A couple of league titles there. He actually did all right. He was still sacked though somehow, but he did win, win the FA Cup, won the Champions League. I mean, that's good. 60% win ratio. Moussa Sissoko, of all people, came in for a little while. In fact, was there for 3 years and did not do particularly well. 53%. Federico Valverde, only 40%. That is really poor. Like, for Notts County managers to only get a 40% win ratio with the squad we had. Admittedly, it was 10 years later. Barry Rhodes, something about his name. Or is he the caretaker? Oh, Hyde Caretakers. Wow, there's actually not that many, surprisingly. Surely not. That can't be the guy I'm thinking of. Can it? It probably can be, can it? Alex Moriba. This guy managed Notts County. Only got a 44% win ratio, but you might remember him as the Dortmund player that scored the goal that knocked us out in that first semi-final we played. That first season of the Champions League where we went all the way to the semis, and I felt we could have potentially gone all the way then. He was the guy that knocked us out in the semis in that really unlucky match. And he went on to manage us. William Darville, don't know anything about him. Konstantinos Mavropanos. Isn't he at Arsenal? A youngster. 35%. That's really bad. Kick-Ass, who you may remember from... Oh, God, who was it he played for? Oh, wait, no. Okay, you won't remember him because it's not from this save. He plays for... He's in my Unial save. Scored a load of goals against Unial, and now he comes to manage Notts County. Cool. Bashir Humphreys. That's a cool name. Did he play for England? Oh, no, that's Ugandan. Awesome. Currently managing Leeds United. There you go. Rodrigo Donizetti, Gonzalo Paiva, who I'm certain is a real player. No, he's not, but he was definitely he was at Manchester City. He scored against us. And finally, Hugo Valacente. So, there you go. So, Paiva did actually at least win him a league title. The first one to do so since Dominic in 18 years. Admittedly, the title he won was the championship, so it's not quite the same, I suppose. Wow. So, what a save it's bloody been. If you've got this far... obviously, leave a like on the video. That'd be dope. Word of the day. We're going to do one. John Frieda, because Em's put some frizzies on the desk here. I don't know if that's for me, or maybe she's trying to tell me something. Let me know your favourite memory of the save, I suppose. So, yeah. So, obviously, you'll have already seen an update video that explained about what's going to happen from now. But just in case you haven't, and I haven't actually recorded it yet, so I'm going to do it after. Going to be a slight gap. I'm hoping to start the new save next Sunday, or the Sunday that you're next going to see, essentially. I don't know when this is exactly going to go out, but you'll get the idea. Hopefully, it will be the Sunshine on Lathe save. Name potentially still could change. If I can not sort that out because of whatever reason with databases and stuff, then we might try and do ourselves another Outcast to Icons. That's sort of the backup save in case things go a little bit wrong with that, because I think that would be fun either way, and I've been meaning to do that at some point too. So, Sunshine on Lathe, hopefully... If not, Outcast to Icons 2 Electric Boogaloo. So, yeah. Seriously, guys, thank you for watching this save. I know it's been the longest one we've ever done on the channel, and thank you for sticking with me for it, frankly. I know, obviously, viewership drops off after a while, but the fact that there's still well over, 1,500 of you watching every single episode is utterly baffling to me. And that's not a slight on you. That's just I can't believe that people would actually want to watch something I would do, you know? So, with that in mind, thank you. Is all I can really say. Leave a like on the video. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, and I will see you guys back with some more content soon. I've got all sorts of other stuff I'm working on in the background too, not just the streams, but some other content outside of a standard Let's Play series. I want to start making more things, tactical series, more March to Safety if I can find the right database for it, all sorts of stuff, basically. So yeah, I'll see you guys very soon. Thank you so much for watching, and for the last time in this save, but it won't be going anywhere, trust me on this one, hold your gun, capybara. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.